Hi, my name is Valentic, Buyer's Advocate and Director of Advantage Property Consulting. Today I was going to give you a bit of a market update on what we're seeing happening now on the ground at auctions and in the Melbourne property market. Well, it's definitely changed since the election. Clearance rates are now sitting in between 70 and 75% every weekend, and there's a lot more confidence in the marketplace. We're now seeing good properties attracting 5 to 6 bidders on average, and many properties are now selling 10 to 15% above reserve price. So that's been a big change. Prior to the election, the market was patchy and clearance rates were still hovering in the sort of 60 to 70% range. And last year in December, we saw clearance rates as low as 40 to 45%. And many auctions were actually cancelled with 0 bidders, and the auctions didn't even go ahead, or there might have been 1 bidder. So there's a very big change in the property market. So what's brought this change about? Firstly, the election certainty, now knowing that the new government is in and that there hasn't been any changes with the government, and there's no changes to negative gearing, capital gains tax concessions, as well as things like the inheritance tax. So it's really been positive for property investors to get back into the marketplace, and that's been the big change. We saw property investors' numbers drop to about 20% in the downturn over the last 2 years since September 2017, and they're starting to come back in droves. Our inquiry level from investors is up around 500% in the last 2 months, as investors are really starting to get back into the market, and they'll move back to that long-term average of around 50% where they are when the market is at a peak, which we saw in the 2007 year. So that's been the biggest change. Owner-occupiers were still around in the last 2 years, but the biggest change was that investors are a bit like sheep. They follow the herd, and investor numbers have dropped significantly. APRA has now loosened the screws and made it easier for investors to get funding, and so there's more and more of them able to borrow and get more funds and get into the property market and build their portfolios. We'll also see predicted a few more interest rate cuts, and this will only further fuel Melbourne's demand and increase the demand from buyers in the property market. So we should continue to see clearance rates increasing and properties achieving capital growth. And we've seen some massive runaway results. Recently, we saw a property on Burnley Street in Richmond, a townhouse, sell for $326,000 above reserve on a busy road. We saw a house in Glen Waverley sell for over $500,000 above reserve, and another house in Port Melbourne on the Boulevard sell for $440,000 over reserve. So these results were not there last year. We look forward to seeing you next time. Please don't hesitate to get on our website, check out our information about our Buyer's Advocate, Seller's Advocate, property management, group block purchases, as well as subscribe to our weekly and monthly free monthly updates. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.